the need is out there and people are getting a little more comfortable saying, okay, I need to do something because I did nothing the last year and I've gained this amount of weight, which is a lot of people. And there's no shame in that. We all had to cope the way we needed to. So if you worked out some, great. If you didn't work out at all, guess what? Start now. It's fine.
Welcome to the My Future Business Show, where we get you in front of your best audience and keep you there. Not only are we interviewing the biggest names in business to help you become even more successful, we're inviting you to book your spot on the show to help you grow your business. So at the end of the call, make sure you fill in the interview application form at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. Hi and welcome back to the My Future Business Show. It's Rick Nuske. I'm your host. It's so wonderful to have you with us today. Now, I just take a second to pause to provide some feedback about your feedback. It's just wonderful. It's warm. Keep it coming. Absolutely love it. Now, I hope you're fit and healthy no matter where you are in this big wide world of ours. And it's relevant that I mention that because on today's show, I'm with the wonderful Joanie Fay from JFAY Fitness. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, it's absolutely my pleasure. We were just touching momentarily on the pandemic, and obviously we're going to take a deep dive into that, Joanie. But first of all, for everybody who was on the show with us, if you don't know much about Joanie at the moment, by the end of the show you will. She is a personal trainer, and we're going to be talking about what it's like to start a business during the pandemic and how to pivot in the fitness industry. But before we do any of that, Joanie, I'd love to learn a bit more about you. And I often start off by asking, where are you located?
Sure. I am located in Virginia, in Herndon. It's within Fairfax County, Virginia. It's one of the largest counties in the state and the country, actually.
What do you have as a landmark? What might people know?
Just about half an hour, 45 minutes from DC. So,
oh, yes, of course.
Pretty close to the capital.
Fantastic. Well, it doesn't get much closer to the center of the earth there, does it?
Yeah.
Look, I'd love to learn a little bit more about you personally in terms of your hobbies and your sports. I know you're right into fitness, but do you have any other hobbies outside of the fitness industry?
I'd say, love for animals. My husband and I recently adopted our second rescue dog. So we have 2 rescue dogs. Beautiful. Now. One we got a couple of years ago and then one just about a month ago.
Are they like, what types of dogs? Is there any one in particular, given that they're rescues?
Yeah, typically with rescues, it's really, they kind of guesstimate what the breed is, but there's no way to know for sure unless you do one of those little fun doggy DNA swab tests.
Yes.
But so one of them is the first one we got is like more of a terrier chihuahua mix, and then the second one we got is more of like a terrier Chihuahua dachshund mix because she's like tiny and long. It's quite comical.
Oh, as long as they're loving and have got a beautiful temperament. Do you take them for walks?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a ritual with us. At least 2 a day, 2 long walks, sometimes 3, because we have a great neighborhood full of other, animal lovers. So you see dogs and cats all over the place. So yeah, it's kind of critical to keep their temperament, good with dogs to get them on those walks.
Yeah. So when you were growing up, do you remember anything about your childhood? I often like to ask. Do you have one fond memory as a child growing up?
Wow. Yeah. I have a few, but I'd say one of my most fond ones actually goes back to when I was only 3 and I was real little and I got my first dog. And I think that's kind of what sparked the interest. Yep. And it just, parents put it like in a box for all of a second, with holes, of course. And they said, open it up, and the dog just kind of popped out on its hind legs, and it was a little black and brown terrier, but to me, being so little, it looked like a bear, so I called it Bear, and then that just kind of stuck.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Now, this is all a matter of context. I'd love to learn a bit about the people who are on the show, because there's business and then there's people. I'd love to get a balance between the both of those two things, so thank you so very much. Now, as a child, were you a reader? Did you enjoy stories and things like that?
Yeah, it was pretty well, pushed on the elementary school side, like book challenges and stuff, which kind of, if you didn't enjoy it at first, it kind of pushed you in that direction to enjoy it more. So I loved reading all kinds of fun, kid books and teenage drama kind of things. And then kind of just pushed me into similar like movies and shows that I would like.
Well, that's interesting. So I'm a big fan of movies, not so much Netflix. I like to actually go to the cinemas, but given the constraints at the moment that we're all going through, do you enjoy movies? What types of movies do you enjoy at the moment?
At the moment, I would say I really push myself to watch more comedies or rom-coms, the chick flick ones, just because they're lighthearted and they make you laugh. I'm not at all for like the drama or the heavy, like
deep stuff,
violent ones, because there's too much like negative stuff on the news right now.
You don't need to look too far. Like yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you're focusing on the lighthearted stuff, because, like you say, you just don't have to look too far to see the negative in the world. And I think what you're doing with your business is absolutely fantastic. We're going to pivot to that in a moment. I wonder, do you like the Olympics, and what do you think about the upcoming Summer Olympics? Do you think it's going to go ahead?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's going to move forward. They're getting really strict, I heard, on the spectator part, and no one from outside can, no travelers can come into the country and watch it. And I totally get that. I mean, I'm shocked that they're allowing spectators at all, but they're keeping it really tight. And I think that's smart, because these athletes, just work so hard. So it's nice that they'll get a chance to compete.
Now, do you follow any particular athletes? Do you get your inspiration from anyone in particular? Who do you follow? Who's standing out for you at the moment? They don't need to be.
There's so many.
Yeah, they don't need to be an Olympian. Just in general. Yeah,
because it's cool to watch the Olympics, but there's no one that in that arena that I can pick offhand. But I'd say like who my inspiration actually comes from. Purchasing one of the Peloton bikes, and the instructors that are behind that, they're kind of just powerhouse Olympian, level in some ways, in what they do and how they inspire people. So that's kind of where I drew from early on. Yeah,
because you have a long history with indoor cycling classes, don't you? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I do. That was kind of the start of all of it. I was running as part of my cardio. My workouts at the time years ago were a mix of running and then working with kettlebells for the strength side. When we were in a tiny condo and, limited on space, and went down to the gym and did that. And it got to the point where I liked the kettlebells. I liked the strength side a lot, but the cardio, I was struggling to find what I liked, and I hated running. I did it just to check the box, honestly. And I'd make the best playlist in the world, and it still was just a suffer through all of it. And then it started to kind of just take its toll on my knees and my joints more. And I just said, I don't know that I'm built for this. I really want to find something low impact, and discovered the spin bike. And at the time I was pretty, always been pretty introverted. And so I went with the at-home Peloton bike route. So, if I'm embarrassed, I'm in the comfort of my own home. And I just immediately took to it. It just became like a healthy addiction, and I loved it. And I was just ride after ride, building up 100 rides, 200 rides. And then finally I had friends and family say, hey, why don't you think of teaching this like just a side hustle, fun, at a gym or one of those boutique studios. You have a, teaching background. You love the fitness side of life. Like, why don't you try it out? And I just kept pushing it away. And then I remember vividly hitting 500 rides. And I was like, I never thought I'd hit 50 rides or 100. Then now I'm hitting 500. I'm just going to take the plunge, sign up for the certification. And if I'm horrible at it, then whatever. So I did it, and then I got certified. And then you have to, audition to get a spot somewhere, whether it's at a gym or a boutique studio, which is terrifying. But I did it. I auditioned. I got hired. And then, fast forward, and I ended up going from being a sub and just picking up classes that need to get covered, and then got my own regular weekly class. And the love for that, it just became amazing. And the people, are just so great. You see the same faces every week, and then new ones here and there. It just becomes a community. And that's when I said, oh, this needs to be a full-time gig, but how am I going to make my mark in the fitness industry? And then that's when I went to get certified as a personal trainer, because I, at the time, was in a completely different career field for years. And I just could have kept doing that and going through the motions and being good at it, but not being happy. And I was like, this is my world. I love this. I need to do this full time. And so I just decided to pivot later in life, in my 30s, but I said, screw it. I don't want to do this job that I'm doing for another 20, 30 years. I'm just going to be going through the motions and not really enjoying life at all.
See, I take a couple of things away from this, is that if you step up to the plate and you give it a go, you never know how much you can actually achieve. So that's inspirational. You're motivated, and you just try things, because life is a one-shot deal, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And another thing that I love is that we have part of the Tour de France come through McLaren Vale in South Australia occasionally, at least when they were doing that. And I went and watched them. And it takes a certain breed of individual to do what they do. What does it take for you to get up in the morning, stay motivated? And what does a typical day look like for you at the moment, Joanie?
Typical day is I get up pretty early and I try to get my workout in first thing, because then the rest of the day can just be a mix of, different schedules each day, depending on which clients I have. Then it's a matter of taking care of the dogs, and then my day of work starts going. And if I don't have a client right away, then I work on programming and other business plans. And then once I gear up and start getting clients here, or my virtual sessions I do for some clients I have at a distance. Then it's just, kind of nonstop until, bedtime, a few breaks here and there, but
that's generally it.
That's pretty much my day. So I make sure to get my stuff that I need to take care of for my health and fitness done early. And the motivation really comes from my clients and, my friends, and having my spin class that I was doing, because it's like, I know these people are hustling and they're working hard. So I got to show up, even on the days where it's a struggle.
Yeah, and we do have those where, as long as you're a human, you have 2 feet and heartbeat, you're susceptible to those days where you just want to pull the covers over your head, aren't you?
Yes, absolutely.
Now, in terms of your business, how did that come about? I know you've talked about it a little bit. I was wondering if you could just expand on that conversation and tell us a bit about, when you decided to put some, a physical location in place, and, what was that whole process like for you?
Sure. It was accelerated, unfortunately, by the pandemic. I was working as a trainer in a big box gym, and several clients, and, was gaining just so much experience there, and was just happy to be there and could have been there for years. But when the pandemic happened, everything came to a halt. And then when the gyms closed, I retained some of those clients virtually, but most of them just, said, I can't do anything right. I need a break mentally. I'm just shot. And I get it. So no judgment. Everyone's got to handle it their own way. So I went from a full roster to almost no roster. And then I got some referrals from clients from friends I have that, chiropractors or just friends and family out there. And so I started to build up some clients of my own. And as I'm toggling between the two sides and, not knowing when the gyms are going to reopen. And then even when they did, it's still, there's still a fear of some people not being ready to train. So I haven't had a chance really to go back there yet. So I said, what am I going to do? And I'm not going to stop. Like, a lot of people that I'm close to wanted to question, are you going to go back to the industry that you were in before? Or, what's your plan? And I said, no, I'm too headstrong with this, and I'm too in love with it. I'm not giving up. So I went to the county. I, got my LLC paperwork filed, and I said, this is going to be my thing. And I'm going to continue to push, virtual training for people that, are at a distance or don't feel comfortable being in person and aren't going to come here. And then for the people who want to come here, I said, all right, I'm going to attack this the safest way I can. And my husband and I had already built out the facility in our basement, which is the gym grade equipment, gym grade flooring, and the whole deal. And it's perfect for just one-on-one safe training. And I wear a mask and gloves all sessions. My clients even wear masks. That just means they may take longer breaks between, sets, but it's one of those things where I'm not kicking you out at 60 minutes. We're not done at 1 hour on the dot. We're done when the programming's done, which is casted to the TV. So you'll see when we're, done. So if it's 75 minutes, I don't care. We're getting it done because your safety comes first. And then the plethora of cleaning supplies and spray, gun, sanitizer, backpacks, whatever it takes is what I'm doing. I spend a lot of time on the janitorial side.
I can imagine.
So
Yeah, well, look, you certainly got your best foot forward, and it is a credit to you. Now, you're talking about innovating, you're talking about pivoting. Obviously, the fact is you're now on this show talking about this. This is another element to all of this. Now, what do you suggest for those who are in a similar position and they want to be more successful? Do you think that they should be marketing their businesses a little better or doing things differently?
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to put yourself out there the best way you can. And, whether it is through, there's so many good social media outlets, people using business places on Facebook or, LinkedIn, Instagram, use some of it, use all of it, whatever works best for you, but try to reach your target audiences. And even if it's local, apps like we have here called Nextdoor, where you can put up local ads in your neighborhood. If you want to go the postcard paper route, it's not too old school. People do it. You still get postcards from realtors and all other industries in the mail all the time. So whatever works, but you got to get yourself out there. And it's doable. It's going to take the work. It's going to take the time. It doesn't happen overnight, but if you want it, you just got to go for it. And the need is out there, and people are starting to get more active, and I'm getting more contacts now, especially now that the vaccines are being pushed more, that people are getting a little more comfortable saying, okay, well, I need to do something because I did nothing the last year and I've gained this amount of weight, which is a lot of people. Oh, yeah. And there's no shame in that.
No, absolutely not.
We all had to cope the way we needed to. So if you worked out some, great. If you didn't work out at all, guess what? Start now. It's fine. There
was obviously the fear factor, then there was the comfort eating, all of those types of things. Now, in terms of the internet and the online or the virtual training space, that's a big blue ocean of opportunity. What does that look like in terms of the practical steps for a client that works with you?
Sure. I think a lot of people are scared when they hear virtual because they feel like they're missing out on the experience. But I hate to tell you that my virtual clients don't get any less of a workout than my in-person clients. And it's tailored to their specific goals, their limitations, if they have an injury or prior injury, any pain, whatever. But then also whatever equipment they have. I have clients that have the full set of dumbbells from, 2 pounds to 70 pounds or whatever. Fancy racks are out there. And they've got, ropes and all kinds of stuff in their garage. And then I have clients that literally have one set of adjustable dumbbells that goes up to like 20 pounds and a set of those little mini latex resistance bands. That client with just those pieces still gets a full body workout because a good trainer can use those pieces. They can also use just straight body weight. I mean, that's what we're geared to do. That's what we're knowledgeable in. So you're not going to get any less of a workout just because you don't have all the equipment. And especially, in the past several months, it was hard to get any equipment online. Or if you did, it was $500 for 2 sets of dumbbells. It was ridiculous.
I noticed that. So, the prices went through the roof.
Yeah. The demand's just insane, and like trying to get a spin bike would take you 4 months to get one if you could. So, I told people not to be discouraged. Like it's doable. And I'm literally watching every movement you're doing the same way I would if you were in person. I was going to ask about that. I'm keeping you safe, which is one of the primary reasons people, want trainers is not just the accountability, but it's to keep them safe because so many people have improper technique and form, and then the injury is just waiting at that point.
A couple of things I've taken from that, Joanie, is that it's not about having not enough resources. It's about being resourceful, isn't it? Now, I'd love to, move into the conversation of, hydration and diet. What's your part to play in that component?
Sure. As a certified personal trainer, we have a good, general overview knowledge of, what's important with nutrition, and we work our best to guide clients in the right way. And the simple stuff, having enough water every day, trying to kick the soda and realizing how much hydration is important and guiding them on how much water they need. And then just the simple stuff with food and meal planning and, ideas to keep you on track and help you with those, macros to make sure that you're getting enough protein. Because if you're strength training and you're not getting enough protein to rebuild that muscle and repair the muscle, then all that work you're doing is going to waste because you need that protein. Making sure that there is that balance where, yes, you need carbs. I'm not going to tell you to do some crazy no carb diet. It's not healthy. It's not sustainable. So it's all within, I say, moderation, not deprivation. So it's guiding them as best, I can. So I talk through that. And then, you'll have a few clients here and there that are just really, that is not enough, and they are struggling and they need someone to hold their hand for everything they put in their mouth. And there's nothing wrong with that. At that point, I would, suggest a nutrition certified coach friend that I have. There's several out there, but I've got a close friend that's what she does. So at that point, I'm not going to overstep. I'm going to say, I think you need to speak with her.
You know the boundaries.
She's not going to start. Yeah, I know my boundaries. She knows her. She doesn't start programming in-depth workworkouts for people because that's not her area of expertise.
Yeah, absolutely. It's wonderful. I'm absolutely loving this call because this is a space that I'm interested in personally. I often think about the role that fast food outlets and manufacturers have to do with marketing, and what responsibility and shift in social psyche do you see happening as a result of the pandemic? Are we still eating lots of fast food? Are you seeing a shift? What's happening in your perspective?
I think, people are still, I think a lot of people it was getting consumed a lot before, but I think food became an emotional thing throughout this, which is, it's a normal reaction, and it's getting hard to reel that in. So it's going to take time when people bounce back, or whether it's because they got their vaccine or when they go back to work in an office setting again, whatever it is. But to try and reel that in is going to be hard, and it's doable, but the convenience just makes it easy. And I mean, I've read an article recently that they're showing the numbers of people who've gone through drive-thrus just from a safety precaution. It's gone up by leaps and bounds, and they don't think that dynamic is going to change in the future. There's like, hey, it's gotten easy. I don't get out of my car. I feel safer. I don't have to touch anything.
Contactless.
So
yes.
So it's trying to break that habit. And I'm all for supporting small business. I know people got a lot of deliveries from your local, restaurant that, isn't a big chain or whatever. And that's great. It's just, again, it's a moderation. My husband and I will get the occasional takeout. I'm not depriving myself, but it's, it might be once a month, not once a week.
No, that's wonderful insight. I wonder about mindset. Does what you do have a positive impact on the mindset of those that you work with? Or are you attracting a certain type of person who already has a good mindset, or what's it look like?
I definitely try to help shift the mindset, because a lot of the clients that I work with, my main client base are people like myself, like right before or around the middle age range. That are trying to either restart their fitness plan. Maybe they were athletes in high school or college, or just never really been into it, don't even know what to do, don't know where to start, but are struggling to lose that extra weight because they gained it from stress or from a divorce, or, whatever. Life happens. So they need that kickstart. They need that person to help them. I've been there. I've got my before and after pictures. Mine just happened earlier in life. It happened in my 20s when stuff wasn't great. So I get it. I know how hard it is to try, and how to shift that mindset to enjoy your workout. And once you find stuff that you enjoy, it makes it so much easier to stick to it. Like I said, when I found the spin bike, I love it. I'm nearing 1,000 rides. Like it's my jam, and I want to teach spin as long as I can, so that's never something I'm going to give up. And there's a client I have that comes here twice a week, and I see her get excited about some of the stuff we do that she would have never thought to do as an exercise. It's outside her wheelhouse, whether it's like a sled that you kind of pull with weight plates on it, or the battle ropes you see on TV sometimes. She loves it. It's just little things that make a difference. So it's much better than she's trying to go to a gym and just lift dumbbells and doesn't know what to do. And that's where people get lost.
A rudderless boat, as it were.
Yeah.
So how does it make you feel when you see that transformation? Because that's what you're all about. You're about transformations. Tell us about an experience with one of your clients, without obviously naming names or anything.
Sure. It makes me so happy, because it's the whole reason I do this. There's monthly weigh-ins. We put people, on a scale, and, measures all of their details, body fat percentage and all that stuff, because your total weight means nothing. What I want to know is how much muscle you built and how much body fat percentage you lost. So that overall number is worthless until we know the nitty-gritty details. And when you see the face on people, I had a client, and she, not only did she lose 20 pounds, but to see that big difference in the shift was huge. But I mean, it wasn't just 20 pounds to her. It was when the number went under 200.
Oh yeah.
When it went to 190 something, and she was over 200. She almost looked like she was going to cry when she was on the scale. So that just is a priceless moment. And then to see how much muscle that they've gained and how well they're tracking, it's right there. It's tracked every month. They get to see it on a grid, over 8 months at a time. They see the history.
Yeah.
And it's cool to have that technology, but it's cool to let them see like your hard work, it pays off. Like even when you're stressed and you want to give up, look at this. You're doing it. So
yeah, fantastic. You're changing lives, and that in itself must motivate you incredibly. Do you have clients having conversations with you? Look, Joanie, I'm really not feeling it today, or this and that. Do you ever have a conversation that re-sparks and energizes them to get back involved and get involved?
Yeah, I try to highlight the positive aspects of all their progress thus far, and how we all have those days where we struggle. And there's some days where it's really hard, and that may be the day you need to take a rest day, because I'm a huge advocate that you need at least 1 or 2 rest days a week. Your body and your muscles, they have to recover for you to perform at your best and continue to build upon that. So if you have to shift gears and maybe Tuesday's your rest day instead of Wednesday, fine. We'll figure it out. We'll try to reschedule, because sometimes mentally it's not going to happen. I get it. But if you're teetering and I can get you in, I'm going to pull as hard as I can, because I've been there and I know.
Yep.
So
yeah, absolutely. Incredible. Cool. Thank you very much for sharing. Now, I've looked at some of the elements of your website. I've seen some of the transformation, the testimonials, and it's a real credit to you, the work that you're doing. Tell us about the 3 M's. What's that about?
Sure. Motivation is a big one. So I'm, kind of like your cheerleader. I'm not, too much in your face annoying. I get it. People are like, hey, back off. But I try to just stay positive and, coach you through it and just keep you motivated and get you to the point where it shifts to a drive. Motivation is only going to get you so far. That I want to build that drive. So you got that passion to keep going. So that's a big one. Movement, it's essential, even if it's a little bit every day when you're not with me. Like if some walks around the block, a nice jog or a run here and there, like just to stay moving, it changes so much. Like you can just be sitting on a couch, depressed, seeing stuff on TV, not knowing what day is going to come next.
Sedentary.
But I can promise you, if you get off that couch, and even if it's as simple as just 20 minutes walking around your neighborhood, the combination of the fresh air, the sunlight, just that movement can change everything. And
turn off that television and go for a walk.
Yeah, exactly. Just get up and move. I promise you'll feel better.
Yep.
And then the last one of the 3 M's is the music, which will forever be, intertwined with my spin class background. That's my favorite part of teaching those classes, is that I get to create a custom playlist and we ride to the rhythm. So when you connect to fun music that you can relate to, whether it's from today's current music, I go all the way back to like the 50s. People love it. That makes a difference. And so I take that same kind of mindset into my training. And when people start up with me, I say, give me 5 or so, whether favorite bands, genres, whatever music that you like. And that's all I need. And you can give me new ones a month from now, whatever. It's fluid, it changes. But just give me something to start with, and I will build a custom playlist that's playing in the background the whole time. And that helps keep you motivated, So it's better than just some weird, elevator music you hear at some places or just nothing in the background. Yeah. So
well, they say that music is a window to the soul. If you can open that door and get people to spark up and lift their shoulders and get their body moving, because movement of the body is so important, and it's sedentary lifestyle that's a killer nowadays, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I know from coming from a office job, traditional job before I shifted gears, how it was just like, it's just wearing, sitting at that desk all day.
So in terms of, acceptance into your programs, you'd obviously looking for information before working with people, especially in the virtual space. What does that process look like? How do you assess somebody for suitability?
Sure. First I kind of want to know a few reasons, like what's their why? Like why are they looking to do this? Because typically they're coming to me. It's not the other way around.
Yeah.
So I want to know what motivated you to connect with me. Have you, worked out on your own before, or with a trainer in the past? How'd it go? What motivates you? Where do you struggle? But more than anything, are you ready, willing, and able to do this? Because sometimes you need to be sure, because sometimes you have like a spouse that's pushing someone or a friend, and they're just not really ready to do it yet. And you kind of need someone in that place, because if not, then you're going to get people that really don't want to do it or tend to just cancel left and right and whatnot. And I want to help you. So, but I need you to be ready to help yourself. So it's a team effort here. I can't be there, you know, like a little birdie on your shoulder telling you not to eat that thing that you don't need to eat. You know, I'm going to guide you as best I can, but then it's a relationship. So I need to just make sure that you're willing to be in it, you know?
Yes, the virtual space is always active and online and happening. What about, activating the actual physical gym environment? How's that going? Is that coming back online, as it were?
Yeah, it's moving more now, as things have gotten a little better with the vaccine and stuff. So I think that, and you know, I'm still connected with Big Box Gym as far as teaching spin and, you know, hopefully training at some point. I'll still be a part of that too. But it's starting to slowly build. I'm seeing on the commercial side as well with the big box gyms. It's not as rapid as we thought. You know, we all thought starting up was going to be a few weeks and
stop start.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
No, look. You go ahead.
I was just going to say, you know, ultimately it's going to take time, but I think we'll get there.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I've been looking over your website, like I've said now. Most importantly, I bet you there's some people on the call today thinking, you know what, it is time for me. And when they want to get involved with this and they want to do at least a virtual session with you, talk us through that process, because I know that you have a discussion. And where can people find you when they want to go through that process?
Sure. My website's the easiest way, JFAYfitness.com. There's a contact page, and it immediately gives you the ability. It's got my phone number, email, but then if you just hit the free consultation button, it gives you a live calendar, comes up, and you just book a slot, and then it's, you know, going to send you an email reminder the day before, and we connect via FaceTime, Zoom, whichever, you know, app platform is best. And we go through, you know, your goals and everything, and then just make sure you don't have any current physical limitations. If you do, you know, I can work around them, but I just need to know before we move forward. And then after we have a thorough discussion on that, your plan, your goals and everything, then we just do a shortened version of a workout to give you an idea of what working with a personal trainer is like and why it's different and why we can maximize the results in a few hours a week versus people spending endless time doing stuff at a gym or now, you know, stuff on YouTube. Those things are great, but some people, A, lack the motivation, and B, that person on the other side of the screen who's a recording, or even if it's a live class on Instagram, they can't see you. They can't see your form. So that may be great for the seasoned gym goer that's already knowledgeable on form and all that stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, for people that are kind of scared and new or trying to restart, that can be dangerous because those are built for a wide variety of fitness levels, not yours. I'm going to tailor this to what you can do at this moment and progress you accordingly.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much. If this is not motivating for you, I don't know what would be, but if you're ready to partner with somebody who has your best interest in mind, then certainly reach out to Joanie at jfayfitness.com. No matter where you see this interview, you will find the links back to Joanie and reach out to her. Book yourself a complimentary consult call and a complimentary training session with Joanie. And with all that being said, Joanie, thank you so very much for spending some time with me on the My Future Business show today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed the call, then make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, share us with your friends, and book your spot on the show at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. And if you're looking for solutions that will help grow your business, then visit myfuturebusiness.com/shop.